Andy?
Yeah?
No, so I've managed to get you at your normal job now, have I?
Yeah.
Yep. Do we do like...
Or in this case, one of these tubes, which are what they call for fractals, is for the testing tanks, for the mirror. But that's the actual pattern.
Which is that length round, is that it?
Yes. So we get that correct measurement there.
Yeah.
We adjust these accordingly. And then
Stick it back in. Let's have
sorry?
a picture.
You stick that back in again. Stick it back in, as it were.
no, that won't play now.
Yeah, just put it back in again.
Oh, so
And turn the handle, Gerry.
Fine.
Stop me at any time. Any change in the movement, whether I can stand.
Mhm.
In other words, the actual diameter, the inside diameter of the tube.
Right. Yes.
I'll explain that as we go along. Right, the next
That's
thing.
what Dudley said the other day. We have a
Yeah.
lot of patterns there.
Oh, yes, and take the one. Right, so basically, this is how our tube starts from. Either the roll or on the straight. It's cut on the guillotine to the size, the segment. Pull that through. Okay, this piece of metal there, definitely actually.
Damn it.
This is just ordinary yellow brush. Is it not, so you don't soften it?
No, not this, no. And that's the choice, which is that step up there. Well, basically, if I cut along, I can cut that to as long as I want to. I just rub the ends down like that. So as I clean the ends up, because solder is going to run down the ends. And after I do that, so there it is there.
So hold it again.
Would you like to take? Can you see the right?
Okay.
Then what you do is, you'd file the ends about 45-degree angle, down like that. Just to give you a slight angle. That direction. Actually do physically with your hand. Usually you have to clamp them between two bits.
What gauge is this?
This is 25 gauge, very light gauge. It's not heavy at all. But I can do up to 10 gauge. I'll show you
Just have
that.
to pull hard.
Yeah. But the next stage is you put it between two bits of board like that.
Yeah.
Then you clamp that in the vise and you do what I've just done, just file it gently, 45 degree.
Right, just hold that up.
Yes, you hold that, and in fact, if you could hold the file as well.
Right. Okay. From that stage, you come to, these are the mandrels. These are different widths of mandrels for different size tubes. They're not necessarily the same size for every size tube, but it gives you just a general, more or less, the width you require. In other words, you see, that's quite large. But that's the nearest mandrel up to this particular size tube.
So just to give it a...
Just to get it round. That's all you want basically is to get it round.
But you
Oh, you
normally
just
use
pull
one.
that round
Pardon?
by hand. You
Yes,
just
I'll show you that.
You normally use one which is smaller than the diameter of the cylinder you're making. That's
Yes.
quite.
Oh yes. So from that stage now, you have the mandrel here. Okay, you cleaned up, you actually put a 45 degree angle up. Then you just bend it round the triplet like that. Okay?
If it were heavy stuff, you couldn't. Then you'd have a...
No, this is the heavy stuff, so I'll show you.
Oh, I don't. I'm getting
No.
heavy. Right.
No.
All right then.
Okay. And the idea of that is that you more or less get the two seams together. Okay? Just more or less bang on. We've got them there, and then we get a boxwood mallet. Say like that. I'll just do it for you so that you can see them. Boxwood doesn't actually damage the brass, doesn't mark it or anything.
Can you do that? Hold that down there for a moment.
And when you do this, you keep it more or less tight and down onto the actual handrail.
So that doesn't dent it very much.
No, this actually doesn't do any harm at all to the brass, it doesn't mark it at all. It just, so all you want basically is to get the two seams more or less buffering one another. It doesn't have to be 100%, but as long as you can more or less get it flat. See something like that now? See, they're more or less, they're not 100% flat, buffering, more or less.
Lee? 45 degrees inside.
That's it. What'll happen is that gives you like a little rift in there. When you put those together, it's like a little rift. So that when you braze, the brazier, the actual solder just runs in between them, and then it keeps it together. Now then, so we've done that. The next stage is, that's the next stage. It's wired up. I'll show you how to do that.
Right, let's have
Okay,
a go
just
at
leave
that.
it there so you can see.
Can you hold it up against, back a bit, hold it up against your jersey?
Paper, sort of thick paper card, like something like I use notebook one, these sort of things. The idea is to place that on there, so that when we braze, we have wire around there. The wire doesn't actually get stuck to the solder, so it keeps it at bay. So what I'll do is just take this wire.
You just use card.
Yeah, it's ordinary card. It can be any card, finish card, not fixed card. Then a bit of wire around there, like so. Now then, as it's not quite flat, you can't get it 100% flat. You have to do this more or less. You feel it yourself. You more or less put your hands there, knowing it's more or less.
That's where the card comes in.
Yeah, that's where you more or less experience tells you.
Yes.
If you go too under, it's going to go click and go underneath. It's no good. So it's got to more or less sit together. So
They've got to be flush when you. They've got to be flush when you
they
break.
can vary a little, but as long as the actual it doesn't go underneath like that. It mustn't go underneath
Yes.
like that.
Yes,
if it
obviously.
does that, then it's complete. It's hopeless.
You start again.
Yeah. So the idea is to keep watch your fingers there, and then you tighten it up. So more or less, you see, it's quite more or less buffered on that.
Ooh.
And gradually, as you go down, you move the brass so that you get your fingers in, so you get them completely flat all the way down. And then you should get it looking like that.
The gauge of wire doesn't matter at all, does it?
No, well, it's not a very heavy gauge. You could use thicker wire, but in this set, it has to be a pliable wire. So you can move it about like that. If it's too thick, then you won't be able to use it. See, that's the advantage of that wire.
Called soft iron binding wire is how we buy it in reels.
Sometimes called floral wire.
Yes, that's right. It comes in,
Reasons not too difficult to get.
it comes in an actual reel. That's basically it comes in a large reel like that. And that lasts for 3 years, 4 years. It's quite larger than that, but it's quite sufficient for us here.
No good for pendulums.
It's toward tube now. Any tube you're making, whether it be thin gauge or thick gauge, this is the process you do it. I was explaining that.
Have you ever worked in anything except brass?
German
Aluminium?
silver.
Yes, of course.
No, I've done aluminium. No, mainly brass. Occasional copper. I've done silver, but that's about it. I've done any other metals.
Is the principle the same so far for any metal?
Basically, yes. It's just at certain temperatures, be careful with silver because if it's too hot, you don't put a hole in it. But I would think that if you're doing sort of anything in gold or silver, then you have to be very careful. But bar that, no.
Gold has low melting point in it.
Carry on, right. Now then, whatever. Now, I show some heavy. This is the thickest 10 gauge, which is very difficult to do. So what you have to do with this is that I'd use a smaller amount of it. The only way you can do it, basically, is you have to sort of bang it like that. Firstly, do it physically. So, again, sorry, I forgot to tell you, you've got to put your 45-degree angle, file everything, same as the other. That's it, just harder to. Now, when you get it more or less round, something like that, use a lead mallet, because you can't use anything that will actually damage the brass or will mark the brass.
But you've never had rolls to do this?
No, this is all done by hand, never.
No, well, rolls are hand. It's like a
oh yes,
ringer.
like a rolling pin. No, never used
like
that.
a ringer, like an old-fashioned ringer with 2 rollers.
That's right.
And you put it through and it
Yeah.
rolls metal into a circular shape.
No, we never had that.
Never had
No, never. The only thing that, well, not like that, was when they used to braze in a forge. All the brass was put on a forge, so used to braze it like that.
Yeah.
But no, all this is, since I've been here and chap before
That's
me,
surprising.
it's all
Because
done.
it's a very old idea.
That isn't to say that other telescope makers
Wouldn't
didn't
have.
in their
It would
time.
save such a lot of time.
Oh, it
have
does.
rolling
I mean,
machines.
it's,
Put them through the rolls
oh,
and out
yeah.
it comes as
oh,
the
yeah.
tube.
This, I suppose, is before that, I think, the way we do it here. Well, I've done it here, anyway. But I agree. Well, you've got to watch how you lock it. If you lock too far, one end comes too far over. So you, again, it's just sort of more or less knowing.
Hold it there, hold it there. Hold your mallet somewhere near.
The art then is to get more or less the 2 seams together.
You've done this before.
When you more or less have the 2 seams together, like that, they're beginning to go in on one another.
Yeah.
And
Just back.
sorry?
Let's put back on the handle a minute.
And you knock it out.
That didn't budge, no.
Something went wrong now. Sometimes it doesn't always go right.
With the map, when you get to that stage, you braze them.
You don't wire up the thick ones, sir.
Oh yes.
You would do.
Oh sorry. No, I've just these examples. Just to get the sweat out, any sort of oil or condensation in it, just to clear it out.
But would it be a great bore just to turn it through 30 degrees?
No,
So
no.
that,
So we to do it again? Put it on.
please, hang on.
Okay.
I'll get the camera wired up.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Right, then, after we get it like that, we put in the flax.
You turned it away.
Oh, sorry. Right, put the flax in.
What flux is that?
This is for, it's a low melting point flax. I have to give you the name, actually I've got it over there.
Easy flow.
It's similar, well I used to use Easy Flow, but they don't do that now. So Johnson Matthews used to supply it. It's silver and gold. And now we get it's a different name now. I'll show you in a minute. Right, sticks of soda, These are some of the solder I use.
A silver
Low
solder,
melting
right?
solder, low melting solder. Right. Now, I can't really show you melting inside because of the angles.
I'll just catch it as you put the end of the stick
Okay.
in.
Right. So the next stage now is to solder. I get the flame up here. So that's the basic principle with the thick one, thin one, large, whatever. Wire off. You do it a certain way because if you don't, you'll actually mark the brass with the pins and pliers. So you have to get where you've actually put the knots on the wire and just pull it off. So.
Do one of them turned around the other way because I can't.
Sorry. It's got flax and sticky. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. It goes into a vat of vitriol, which is a weak acid. Hydrochloric.
Hydrochloric acid.
Diluted
Very
in
dilute.
water.
It doesn't tack the brass.
No, it's so diluted. I
dilute.
put my hand in. I'll show you.
Ah.
It's. No, you've got to wash your hands.
Where's your hand?
It's taking off where I burnt it with the torch.
Right.
So I put it in.
Process where he removes the water after the cubes have been washed off from the acid.
Is upright and it needs to be flattened slightly. So the idea is to go over it like that. You don't go across, you just cross like that. So you don't mark it. If you go across like that, you can mark the brass and it shows file marks on it. So you have actually just drop it down like that.
So you're just draw filing that.
This process is to take out the
You want to
overlapping.
make it round. Okay? You turn it round again. You do the same. This piece of brass onto this and make it a round tube. That's going to finish it off then. Then we've got upstairs and we turned and made into
This is gating.
yes, this is it. So this is the old, which is slightly larger. This one here is slightly smaller, so that when the brass is poured on there, this will pull the brass off. Sorry.
So you need these two. Usually.
Yes. In this case I've got three because I'm going to give them two pulls just to show you.
So we just lay it down.
Laid out the actual triplet, or as was said in the original pattern, the triplet, where you've got the mandrel, one hole as a so-called to pull over the brass, and the second hole is used to pull the brass off the mandrel itself. We'll come to that process in a minute. Got the actual full-size brass pulling machine, starting off with the large gear wheel at the top of the instrument, and coming down it you can see the other gears and what I tend to call the fusee chain to beat all fusee chains in sheer mass. Coming down further you can see the slots where the mechanism called the gate goes, which actually holds the holes in position to be pulled so that the mandrel and tube can be pulled through them. You go right down to the base, which is raised about 2 to 3 feet. Beneath that is a hole extending down probably a further 3 or 4 feet, into which the long mandrels can be placed when pulling long tubes. I'll leave the rest to Gerry, I'm not good at this.
Isn't it these are different sizes? It's because of the actual, if you look at that size there, compared to this one, which is much thicker.
Yeah.
So here we have the different sizes. Give you an idea. So these are interchangeable, you see, for a different size triplet. Whether it be a very big and stubby one like that, or a small one like that, or say a very tiny one, like say these here, these tiny ones. See? So they're all interchangeable. Okay.
These are original blacksmith made.
Yes, yeah, these are.
That's welded, but
Yes.
Called just those.
Plates basically.
They're just called
Yeah,
plates.
plates.
And that comes in 4 separate halves, doesn't it? Or is it?
It's one size, but it takes all the different holes down here. So what I'm going to do now is raise this up a bit. Okay. Well then, the next thing I do is down here you see other plates with different size holes. Small ones. The reason this is, it's very similar to the shackle. These are for the top of the mandrels, and these are so when the tube's being pulled, for the different size mandrels there. So, so what I do then is I cut the table as well.
ah yes.
This that goes in there.
The plate goes into the gate, in fact, on a sort of dovetail.
Okay.
Yep.
So then I. So they're not lightweights.
This is the second half of the gate.
Goes there. Then you lift this one up and just manoeuvre it in. So it's in there now. It's sitting between these two plates.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Yes. Can you just take that forward?
Just you judge this yourself
Oh,
to make
don't
sure
believe-
It wouldn't work.
So basically that just goes on top of that like that there. Right then, let's see, move my hammer. Right, just tap that down gently. Gives it a slight gate on the top of the brass. And now we put in the hole on. And then what we do now, it should be alright, make sure I've got it. We have these keys, bits of metal, different size, that slot through there. Then we're starting to pull it.
Pull it again after
Let's pull that down there
Yeah.
now.
Is it hot?
No, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is, because it's a thin metal, I'm going to put another hole on there, because you see my
Machine's coming down in order to pick up the mandrel for the second time. And Gerry is pulling through a smaller diameter hole in order to make the...
Well, what I might do, no, I'll leave it at that, just to show, I think. Now you can feel now that's pulling harder now.
You see it shine out.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's got a very, very strong pull now.
This is the second pull. It'll come off the end with a bang in a minute. There you go.
So the hole is there, we take that out. Now if that was a big triplet like that, that sits on top of that.
Yes.
Right.
Now this hole,
Shove
a
it up.
smaller diameter, is going to
Right,
pull
can you
the...
just hold it back on the table?
Yeah, the tube now is very firmly
You
seized,
won't
as
get
it
that
were,
off
onto
now,
the mandrel.
unless you have to, you physically, well, pull it off with this.
Yeah, you couldn't hammer it off. Because
No,
it-
oh no, you damage it, it wouldn't come off.
Right.
Right then, that.
Now it's been pulled off
Now,
the
see, that's
mandrel.
pulling out there, you can feel the forces now.
And there goes the mandrel at the top, and the tube is staying
You
down
see
at the
where the
bottom.
tallow is, that's how it
Fall off altogether?
Get up and catch it,
Hold
Jez.
that there.
It's been made by Joshua Martin. You see it's very, very old, hand operated, rather crude metalwork on the outside, and down the bottom there's a hole, again now covered by a couple of boards, into which the tube will go. The principle is the same as the its larger brother, and Joey's holding the plate that's going to go directly into one of the slots now.
Quite deep.
Well, 5 to 6 foot is it, that one, Jim?
Yes, much deeper than that. So, does anyone else do anything down there, do they? As that one was. Between the plate, but you've only got one plate on this one, you haven't got 2 plates. Because you've got, if you see here, you've got different ratchets. Well, I call ratchets then, but this was section, I suppose. Right, so now what I'm doing now, I'm going to start pulling it now. I'll make sure it's...
You stay in the same position for a bit. Sort of like, yes. And again. No, don't do it
Not
too
too
quickly.
fast. Go very slow.
Very slowly, in fact. Otherwise, I can't.
Right, there you go. Let John have a go now.
All right. Look,
Yes, Dr. John Darius now takes the stand. With grim determination on his face.
it's much lighter, in fact.
Yeah.
than,
Now hold it there. Now, originally, there'd be 2 people working this. One would be turning, one would be holding underneath there, because the O is going to drop down.
Yes.
So, in other words,
Just about at this point.
yeah, you keep turning it, go on.
Right.
So then the O comes off.
It's allowed to float very freely.
Yes. Yeah. Now this one is lightly on there. You want us to pull it off. You see? But we want to pull it right hard like the other one. So as you can see, it's cut
This
at
is
an angle.
tapered tube making.
Right?
Right.
So that's all I do basically with something like this. Would be to take the sheet of brass that you see on the roll, cut it to the length, place that on the brass and mark it out, as so. And then cut it on the guillotine. Well, first of all, this is slightly larger than the width of the guillotine. I cut it with a pair of metal cutters, and then put it in, and then cut it down that way. And then what I do is, as you can see, these are tapered compared to the others, they're straight. And I would then bend it round, same as the ordinary tube, and then basically you get that type of shape. So imagine that together.
You can just hold
You've
that up
done your 45
vertical for a
degree.
minute, Jerry.
Yes. Oh yes.
You see the
exactly.
tapered
Everything
format.
the same. I've cleaned the inside there. I've put the file on there, the 45 degree angle, and because it's tapered body and this is cut tapered, you get the same effect, but it's